Welcome to the IDP Trade Show. I'm your host, Josh Raymer, joined in the Socheck tonight, Adam Markham, Bobby Reynolds. Thank you all for tuning in. The start of the 2024 NFL season. It's a little over a week away, boys. Next Thursday, we get a delicious kickoff game, Ravens-Chiefs. So with the season this close, I figured what better time to go through and talk about some trades. Drafts are wrapping up. Some folks might have drafts. We've got our home league draft on Sunday, but trades are flying. We've got quite a few to break down that have been submitted already. Y'all know the deal. If you're watching live, drop your trades in the chat, and we'll break it down live on the show. We've got probably 10 to 11 trades to break down already. So, boys, what do you say we just jump right into it?
I'd be okay with it.
Do you be okay with that, Bobo?
Hey, that sounds swell.
Let's do it. All right. So first up here from Dr. Jordy. Dr. Jordy, thank you for dropping this into the website thread there.
Dr. J?
Dr. J says, Superflex Dynasty League, roster 35, starts 17 between offense and defense, so 17's total starters. Defensive starts 2 DL, 2 LB, 2 DB, 1 D flex. So start 7, I guess IDP start 10 offense. Tackle heavy scoring, League 1. So he had 2 trades with those same settings, and they both involved the same player. So the first trade was he traded away Ivan Pace Jr. and Julian Blackmon for Azeez Al-Shaair. League number 2 traded Cedric Gray and Luke McCaffrey for Azeez. In parentheses, I'm kind of in on Azeez. Well, good news, Dr. J. We're in on Azeez as well. So, Bobo, we'll go to you first. First trade, Ivan Pace and Julian Blackmon for Azeez Al-Shaair. What do you think of that one?
Pretty clearly Azeez for me. You know, not only did he have a career year last year in Tennessee, but we expect bigger things now. Azeez Al-Shaair reunited with D'Amico Ryans down there in Houston. Now Christian Harris kind of has a knee thing going on, so it might be Azeez and Henry 2020 week 1. Azeez Al-Shaair blows this one out of the water for me. You guys?
Yeah, I like the second trade a little better with Cedric Gray and Luke McCaffrey for Al-Shaair. I think the first one, I definitely want the Azeez side, but Ivan Pace and Julian Blackmon's not a terrible package to get back in return.
Definitely want Azeez, especially when you only have 7 IDPs.
Yes.
Like Ivan Pace and Blackmon really aren't the type of talent you want when the rosters are that shallow IDP-wise. So, yeah, Azeez Al-Shaair is like a top 30 player this season, so that's a smash right there. And then the second one, I'm actually a little more hesitant just because I'm a little excited about Luke McCaffrey. I still would probably go Al-Shaair because, I mean, McCaffrey probably cost him like a 4th or a 5th, right? So.
Yeah.
But it's Christian's brother.
Yeah, I mean,
you know,
McCaffrey, bro.
And their dad's pretty good.
Sure.
Just I'm not going to be surprised when that dude is solid. And there's been some nice hype around him this offseason.
Just traded Jahan Dotson. Jake
Right.
Daniels looks the part.
Depth chart, it got a little bit easier.
You could regret this one. This one's one that could come back to bite you. I think Azeez is going to be great. I don't think the bottom's going to fall out for Azeez. But there is a chance that Luke McCaffrey looks like better than Christian Kirk.
Yeah, that could be a type of player that he is.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm not as excited about Luke McCaffrey. It's definitely in his range of outcomes, but, you know, we've seen this kind of...
Azeez should be a linebacker 1 for the next 2-3 years at least, right?
Yeah,
So.
that's my thinking is I think in the long and short term, you've got the better end of the deal. So I like it, Dr. J. Starting off with some good trades here, man. Very nicely done. Thank you again for submitting the trade. Let's move to the next one here. Pretty simple trade, no real context, but sometimes that's fun. Reggie said, Julian Love and Foye Oluokun for Isaiah Pacheco. He would get Pacheco. Baba, I'm going to go to you first on this one as well. As the Pacheco truther, Julian Love and Foye. You willing to give that up to get Isaiah Pacheco?
Okay, so first off, I'm going to go to theidpshow.com. I'm going to get in Adam's 2024 IDP Dynasty ranks because I wanted to actually go in here and look at Foye's age. Foye's age, 29.1 years old. Julian Love for me is not a huge part here. Pacheco, gosh, man, this is tricky. Do I want to trade Foye for Pacheco? I really think that
I do. I would definitely
I think I want Foye.
Yes.
Because He is a little older than Pacheco, but it seems like the end could come kind of abruptly for Pacheco. I love Pacheco. I think he's really fun here for 2024. He's a great running back to have, but the bottom could fall out for you. Carson Steele made the 53-man roster. He's looked really good so far this preseason. I don't know. Joshy, Foye, Pacheco, what's your thoughts here?
I mean, it depends on what kind of shape you're in with running back, what your linebacker room looks like. Of course, that's the context we don't have for this one. But just in a vacuum, I think Foye is far and away the best piece in this trade. And Julian Love's no slouch as well. Mm-hmm. I mean, this could be a top 24 safety. So as long as you're starting 2 DBs, both of these guys could be in your starting lineup. So I don't think it's like a landslide for the Foye Julian side. Pacheco is going to be the starting running back on a high-powered offense. Like, those tickets are hard to come by in IDP or in fantasy football. So
the question is just for how long is Pacheco going to be that guy? Mm-hmm. Whereas Foye, I mean, you figure he's got another 3 years as being like not just a top 12 linebacker, like a top 3 linebacker, So
it wasn't that long ago CEH was the belle of the ball with the Kansas City Chiefs. So they seem to turn over those running backs
exactly.
quickly. So
and you feel like they're due to draft one of them pretty high, or at least bring someone in.
The last time that happened, it did not go well with CEH in the first round. So I don't think they're going to be listening to Patrick Mahomes' draft advice again anytime soon. But
do that.
They should take a running back high. I do agree.
Okay, so we got to give a little credit to our boy Jackson here for a lot of the combined offensive and ADP that's on the site. Jackson's done a lot. Scott Soltis has been in a bunch of these. So Foye right now is going as the LB1 and the ADP overall 76 right now, whereas our boy Pacheco is going as the RB10 ADP 32.
Wow.
So ADP in like redraft is going to lean towards Isaiah Pacheco. I think you've said, Adam, that the ADP there is skewed pretty heavily towards offense.
Yeah.
But in Dynasty, man, Foye just doesn't look like he's shutting it down anytime soon.
Yeah, Pacheco's going like within the top 4, like first 4 rounds.
Yeah.
Usually like round 3, round 4.
Wow.
So
yeah, this is
we don't drafted. It seems a little lopsided, but again, Dynasty, I just feel better long term
for sure.
Let's assume that it is Dynasty. I agree. I think it's Foye.
I don't feel good about any running backs long term outside of like the top 7, right?
Yeah, but even then, it's like McCaffrey's good, but how many more years has he got?
Right.
But then, like, Jonathan Taylor's about to be weird again with a contract here coming up soon. Saquon just got traded. I mean, just ambiguous. I said it both ways.
We can't cut it.
Ambiguous situations. We can't. Y'all get that forever. You're welcome.
I will say, shout out Jax again. The young man put the IDP trade calculator up on the site. Go check it out, theidpshow.com. It's a free resource out there. Has the trade as fair. So, and this is
it's a fair trade.
Yeah, this is, I think, more of like a short-term kind of outlook. So check out the trade calculator. I think for 2024, it's a little more close, but for Dynasty, give me Foye and give me Julian Love. Let's go to the next trade here, boys. We actually got quite a few comments as well.
And even for 2024, like that is his ADP, Pacheco's, but like I ain't drafting him there.
No.
Like I'm not gonna have Pacheco.
The piece
anywhere.
I want from the Chiefs is Patrick Mahomes. If I want any of those pieces, or
some of
Travis
those receivers,
Kelce,
Rasheed Rice. I mean, he's probably not gonna get suspended. I don't think.
Tony
Doesn't
got
seem
cut
like
today. That was interesting.
Yeah, Kadarius Toney.
Yeah,
incredibly over for.
Did Juju
Toney.
make the 53?
I don't know. They just brought him in though, didn't they?
I think he did. I think that's why they were let Kadarius go.
Wow.
So some comments here. Thank you all so much for tuning in and sending these comments in. First one from Brandon Dillman. Any idea which Rams LB we should be targeting between Roseboom, Reeder, Spates, and Hummel?
It's the Chris Farley no idea gift.
Yes, truly. We just recorded an episode with Mike that will go live on YouTube and in the podcast feed tomorrow, and it's just wait and see, Brandon. You can stake your claim with some of these guys if you want, and you'll look brilliant if you're right. But
yeah, if you have 4 open roster spots,
yes,
maybe
why
add
not
the whole room.
Yes, I think Spates is the dynasty play right now. We talked about it with Mike that's the piece that wasn't present, in years past, and now suddenly he's kind of the wild card that had the Rams making this move, unless there's something big going on behind the scenes we don't know about with Ernest Jones.
What if the answer is Cam Curl? What if Cam
The
Curl's
answer is never
linebacker
Cam
you
Curl
want?
for this guy right here.
It's wrong sometimes.
So, does Cedric Gray have any value now with Ernest Jones in town? This from Boo Bam, Jeff Pomazal. This is definitely a damper. I think you can cut Cedric Gray loose just because, they've got
better talent out there on your waiver wire.
Right. I think this is
Go get Derek Hall.
throw him on your taxi squad and don't
Henry.
worry if someone else pilfers him.
Yeah.
So, Jordan
Go
Merritt.
get one of these Ram linebackers.
This may be
One of the
Dr.
booms.
J here said, thanks, fellas. So I think that's breaking. We just broke down Jordan's trade. So there you go. You're welcome,
Nice.
Jordan. Thanks for sending that in.
Yeah.
Some guy named Ben Ratty. Is Ernest Jones still worth a 2026 second? Bobo.
Never was.
Yeah.
Never was, Ben.
You overpaid big time.
Never will be.
Overpaid big time, Ben. From Brandon as well. I'm bummed I just picked up Kenneth Murray 2 days ago in my auction league. What a waste. I'm not throwing in the towel yet on Kenneth Murray. I do think it's interesting. We had the conversation. I had a YouTube short randomly pop up on my feed, and it was us discussing Kenneth Murray right after he signed with the Titans. Mm-hmm. And I was like, are we okay banking on a bad linebacker?
Yep.
And, I mean, now the question has to be raised, who does this impact the most for 2024? Is the trapdoor under Kenneth? Is it under Jack?
Nah, it's under Jack. Jack was never a door to begin with, I don't think.
I think that's the one that makes sense to me because you brought in Kenneth Murray, right? So it's like if you're addressing anything.
Good hype, too, right?
Yeah, and I think if you're addressing anything, you're addressing the Jack Gibbons problem. I think Jack Gibbons was just there. He was just a warm body.
Yep.
Who was in the room. And so I think now you've got a chance to upgrade Jack Gibbons to Ernest Jones.
And next to Cedric Gray, right? He looks awesome.
Is there a possibility we see an Ernest Jones contract soon? You think that's something that you're going to see in the next week or so?
I don't think so. Not based on the compensation.
You think it's going to be play out this season?
Yes.
We'll
have that conversation.
That trade
down
conversation is hey, we don't feel like signing you.
We'll take a flyer, and if you work out, but it's not like the Leonard Williams thing where they gave up a second-round pick, and you knew they were going to re-sign this
Same
guy.
with Roquan, right? The Ravens gave up a second and then paid Roquan $100 million. Like,
Yeah.
Titans aren't doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and they just paid Kenneth Murray quite a bit. I mean, not a lot, but for Kenneth Murray, quite a bit.
But I don't know. He could get a second deal. I imagine he will. I think he's going to be fine.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be
if it's not
Ernest
for
and Kenneth,
as long as he plays and plays well,
both getting at least 80%.
Will
What if they're good together?
Yeah, they could be great.
They're fun players, young players, a lot of upside. Like,
Playing behind a great line.
we've talked about it a lot, man. These linebackers could take a while.
Savondre.
AFC South could have 4 teams with 2 linebackers that are dynamite for each squad.
Like, their defense is pretty good.
Yeah.
You know?
Savondre Sweat supposedly looks really good.
Also, don't
Landry
forget they
back
brought in
healthy.
L'Jarius Sneed.
Oh,
Pretty good.
yeah.
Pretty
Forgot
good.
Ever heard of him?
Yeah, Jeffrey Simmons is apparently taking a step.
Will
So
Levis might be it.
I think the Titans could be
Offense could be
sneaky
better.
good. Sneaky good.
yeah,
so
they'll be sneaky.
Evan Ringler, bell cow for the Chiefs, signed me TF up. So Evan Ringler signing in there, or chiming in on the Pacheco for Foye and Julian Love trade.
Yeah, Ringler's a big Pacheco guy. I'm making a note of that, Evan.
Pay attention.
Up here.
Ben Ratty said, thanks, fellas. One more for Brandon, then we'll get back to the trades. How are we feeling about Jordan Howden? There was some hype around him being a starter, but that's cooled off recently. Is it worth stashing as a DB in Dynasty?
Probably not. I mean,
think no.
I think you could probably find maybe a Tyke Smith out there on waivers, someone like that. Yeah, I doubt it.
Yeah.
Are there 2 Tyke Smiths?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. I don't know why I'm bringing that up, but I thought I had seen something with him today.
Seeing
that was
2 Tykes.
somebody
we
get-
can't cut tonight.
It's okay. Tyke
We
getting
can't
cut
There's
somewhere.
no post-production,
I'm
Bobo.
going to look this up.
All right, next trade here. We just did Reggie's. Let's go to Jacob Lunsford. Jacob, thank you for sending in the trade, my friend. He said, from a couple months ago, 14-team Dynasty Superflex, start 10 offense, 3 DL, 4 LB, 4 DB, 1 D flex. 0 PPR, so it's just a standard league, but they have point per first down for receiving. Big play, heavy defensive scoring. This was the trade, so that's the kind of backdrop there. He sent Brian Burns plus a 2025 4th-round pick for Terry McLaurin and a 2026 3rd. So again, Brian Burns and a 4th next year for McLaurin and a 2026 3rd. So he upgrades the pick a year in the future, gets McLaurin back for Brian Burns. The context was he had absolute garbage At wide receiver, felt pretty good at the time having Montez Sweat, Jeffrey Simmons, Hassan Reddick, Samson Ebukam, Danico Autry, and Bryce Huff. Doesn't feel as good anymore. Yes, I can understand why he'd be a little more gun-shy about this squad with Hassan Reddick accruing like $5 million in lost revenue. Samson Ebukam out for the season. Danico Autry did get this suspension overturned.
Sweet.
Wait, wasn't he the one that got it overturned?
I don't know. It was
No. It was
Arden Key.
Yes, Arden Key. I'm thinking of the other former Tennessee defensive
Autry's
lineman.
was 6 weeks, I believe.
6 weeks. So yes, you have a suspension, an out for the season Achilles injury, and a holdout that doesn't seem to be ending anytime soon. But you still have Montez Sweat, Jeffrey Simmons,
Bryce Huff,
and Bryce Huff.
You're fine.
So I think I'd rather have McLaurin and the upgraded pick a year in advance.
I would as well. And also, like, Jane Daniels could be really, really good this season.
Yep.
So, yeah, McLaurin could have his best season he's had in a while. And wherever he goes on his next stop, he'll be a solid vet.
And Reddick will come back. Like, Reddick is going to play this season, whether it's for the Jets or somebody else.
Yeah.
I don't think he's just going to pull a Le'Veon Bell and sit out the entire season. Yeah. And Autry will be back. Autry will be back after 6 weeks.
He's lost, what, like over $4 million, though?
$4.77 million,
Jeez,
I think I saw today.
That is nuts.
Between fines and lost preseason revenue. Yeah, just like, what are you doing, bro? Bobo, which side?
Oh, Scary Terry.
Scary Terry?
Easy.
Yeah, I agree. I want the wide receiver one attached to a potentially transformative franchise quarterback.
How many sacks for Brian Burns in 2024?
11.
I was going to say 10 to 12. So, yeah, I'll say 11.
I like it.
Okay.
I agree.
Yeah, let's go to another trade
Kayvon.
here.
11.
Yeah, why not? Let's give him one less. Let's give him 10.
What do you think?
I'm going to go 14 Kayvon.
14 Kayvon. Addy's been rising on Kayvon. He has been rising on Kayvon.
Everyone else falling.
That's right. Now's the time to swoop in.
Sure.
That means he's going to do better. From Lee Angus about 6 weeks ago, pre-rookie draft, PPR, salary cap. Love this. Okay, we're in. Salary cap auction dynasty league. 40-player roster, 9 offensive starters, 1 QB, 2 to 3 running backs, 3 to 4 wide receivers, 1 to 2 tight ends, 1 kicker, 11 defensive starters, big play favored scoring, 3 to 5 DL, 3 to 5 LB, 3 to 5 DB, return yards count. So it's salary cap, $500, auction dynasty. It is a 40-player roster with a ton of starters on offense and defense. Yeah, 9 offensive starters, 11 defensive starters. So start 20. And the trade was Danielle Hunter, $36 salary. Derwin James, $26 salary. He sent 4 to a contender for Zamir White, who was $20, and the 210, which ended up being Dallas Turner, who was $6 in salary. So he cut the salary obligation in half and flipped Danielle Hunter and Derwin James for Zamir White and Dallas Turner. A little bit of context here. We both feel the trade was reasonable. I freed up cap space, capitalized on value of established vets, and added to a weak running back room and a young first-round DL talent. He has a top contending team with a good running back room, so the cost wasn't too great for him.
Oh, my gosh.
He bolsters his defense with some potential high-end talent.
His DL room is now Will Anderson, Jeffrey Simmons, Jermaine Johnson, Will McDonald, Odafe Owe, Dallas Turner, and Liatu Latu.
Pretty sick.
That's pretty nasty.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a good cash out. If you were looking to save some salary cap space and, add to that stud DL room, I don't mind it.
And it also sounds like he wasn't contending, right? So, because he mentioned the guy he traded was a contender.
Correct.
So, yeah, I mean, I like that a lot. I mean, it's going to look maybe a little ugly in 2024 because Hunter should ball again and Derwin should have a, top 6 safety season. But you got Dallas Turner long term. And Zamir White could, give you a solid 2024 too. Yeah. So I like it. You can flip Zamir White in season probably. So good stuff. Good trade.
I think so. I think it's a
I'm
good
never
cash
going to be
out.
mad at somebody acquiring.
Yeah, I was going to say, this could have been like a bag of potato chips in Dallas Turner.
Yeah.
And you'd have been like, hell
you could
yeah,
have been trading
brother.
away Christian McCaffrey. I said, that looks pretty good. You got DT.
Yeah, love it
You don't
already.
like that long term.
So here's an important note from Brandon. He asked about Jordan Howden earlier. He has CB eligibility in his Dynasty League for some reason. Makes him a little more appealing, but still probably not worth rostering.
Probably not.
Yeah, I think I would just rather stream CB. Read Johnny the Greek's CB streaming article for free on the IDPshow.com. There you go. That's what I'd rather do. A note from Evan. He said, Sexy Dexy, 29 sacks. Burns 8, Kayvon a half a sack. So Evan's just choosing violence on the stream tonight. Thank you, Evan, for chiming in, but you need to go to bed now. Next
Got a lot of shares of old Dex.
A lot of shares.
Too many.
Too many. He may be overweight on Dexter Lawrence. This one from Alex Erickson. We got a couple of trades from Alex.
I like you, Evan.
Superflex Dynasty League, roster 40, 28 active, 12 taxi, start 9 on offense, 8 on defense. Defensive starters, it's 2-2-2-2. Tackle heavy scoring. It is a sleeper league because it's DL, LB, DB, D-Flex, I think. We can assume this is a sleeper league. Alex's team, he is team 2 in both of these trades. So Alex is team 2. He said flush with picks and wide receiver, weak at linebacker. So he has a lot of picks. He has good wide receivers, and he's weak at linebackers. So keep that in mind, the context here. First trade, so 2 trades with that context established. Trade number 1, team 1, who's the other team in the trade, not Alex, gets Ladd McConkey and a 2027 third-round pick, which was Alex's pick, for Azeez Al-Shaair. Now, Luke McCaffrey, I don't really care as much about, but Ladd McConkey, a 2027 third, who cares? That's 3 years in the future. But Ladd for Azeez straight up,
too.
I'd rather have Ladd.
Yeah.
I'd rather have Ladd.
Yeah, I don't like that one very much. Especially with, you look at the starters too. You only start 2 linebackers and 2 IDP flex. So, I mean, there's going to be a lot of talent out there on the waivers. So, I don't like that.
And also, I think it's important to remember that I don't necessarily like to trade for need, because I think you end up making mistakes when you are trying to go after need in a trade. Yeah, you may be loaded at wide receiver. Who cares? Load up as much as you can at wide receiver.
Be patient. Trust that you will figure it out in season, because you probably will. Like, you will be surprised that Robert Spillane was out there last year on waivers. Like, EJ Speed was out there last year.
One of these Ram guys is going to pop.
Right. Nate Landman was on waivers. Cleaky Hudson gave you linebacker, 1 weeks for 4 weeks. So, I mean, farm that stuff always.
You could look up him by week 4. Ladd McConkey is the wide receiver 1 in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I don't know
who else. Quentin Johnson.
Azeez Al-Shaair was a former waiver pickup, man.
Yeah,
it's QJ. It's DJ Chark. It's a bunch of nobodies. Love Ladd.
Unless you have you're starting 12 to 13 IDPs. Like, don't be trading 4 IDPs. They're just, you'll be able to find them out there on the waivers.
Yep. So next trade there, trade number 2, team 1. So the team that Alex is trading to gets KJ Britt, a 2025 second and third, and a 2027 first round pick. He gets Will Anderson, who is labeled as a defensive end. So maybe this might be an MFL league then. But so KJ Britt, a second and a third next year, and a 2027 first for Will Anderson.
Holy God.
That's a lot.
This is a...
we talk about, what's the price tag for Will Anderson?
I mean, you're paying, that's what he's going to be worth at max.
If he hits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're paying top dollar right now.
KJ Britt could be real good this year.
Yeah, KJ Britt could outscore him in 2024.
A second and a third.
He did say... Both trades by me were considered egregious overpays. However, I am flush with pick and needing to upgrade the roster and have a good base.
Just because you have a bunch of picks doesn't mean you just need to give them away.
Right.
Because they'll get more valuable as soon as the draft gets here.
Could you have just gotten Will Anderson for a first and a second in 2025?
I would have thought so.
Yeah. I mean, a second, a third, a first, and KJ Britt. Yeah. I know the first is in 2027.
So it's coming.
Yeah, it'll be here before we know it, folks.
So if you get into the IDPshow.com, Adam actually has trade values for some of these guys in the dynasty ranks. So right now it shows Nick Bosa trade value, and not necessarily a year, but a first and a second is a fair trade value right now for Nick Bosa.
That's the max I'm willing to probably spend on an IDP.
Let's see. Myles Garrett, worth a first. Roquan, a first. Let's give you some more context. Jared Verse, a second and a fourth. Pretty good value. But yeah, similar situation here. You're paying as if Will Anderson is already, you're getting the last 3 years of Myles Garrett. I mean, that's a lot to give. I know it's a 27 first, but it's still a first.
Yeah, and I mean, what if Will Anderson does come out and put up 15 sacks like that? It would
for sure.
It'll look a lot less bad
for sure.
But and I mean, Will Anderson.
You're paying the premium right now.
Right, exactly.
Bingo.
You're paying as if that's already happened. So,
and while
could it look good? Yes. Does it look good right now? It feels like a little bit of an overpay.
Yeah.
For a guy that we like.
Overpay.
And that's the thing is we love Azeez Al-Shaair. We love Will Anderson. I just think the philosophy behind trading for these guys and the assets that were given up was a little too much. For any league context. I don't care if you are flush with picks and wide receivers. To me, that's more valuable because you could figure out IDP.
Yeah.
You know, Ladd McConkey could be a top 24 dynasty wide receiver at the end of this season. So.
Yeah, like we liked Will Anderson as a rookie pick, right? And the value he was then. But now he's very pricey.
Yes.
And I don't want to go out of my way to acquire a guy like that, right? Because we could have just had Dallas Turner or Latu in the second round.
Yeah.
Like, that's the way you need to do it with these guys.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so there you go. Thank you for the trades, Alex. Hopefully that was helpful advice. Let's move on to the next trade submitted on Twitter from Quirin Mayer. Yeah, I love this. This is very straightforward, very simple. Team 1 is the champ. Team 2 is rebuilding. 3 DL spots. It's a sleeper league. This one is confirmed sleeper. So Team 1, who's the champ? Team 2, rebuilding. Team 1 gets Danielle Hunter in a 2025 fourth. Team 2 gets Jonathan Cooper in a 2025 second. So you're swapping Hunter for Cooper and moving that pickup 2 rounds.
That's fun.
I think that's a fair trade.
It's a good cash out.
Yeah.
Fair cash out.
I want Danielle.
Yeah, I mean, of the sides, of course. But if you're not
rebuilding, you get yourself a second, and you got Cooper, who's got some nice upside, too.
Sure, but it's Danielle Hunter.
Yeah, but I mean,
is now the time to trade Danielle?
The clock is ticking.
So the champ is getting Danielle. This makes sense.
The champ is getting Danielle.
So he's going for it. He's doubling down. He's going again.
She's
going again.
Giving up that second, getting back a fourth.
I mean, if you're a contender, you should be trying to acquire Danielle Hunter.
I think this trade makes a lot of sense.
Sure, it does. It does. It makes sense for both sides. I guess I'm just thinking, man.
I like Cooper a little bit too.
I guess I'm just thinking. We were just talking with Mike. What are we most excited about? You're really excited to see what does Danielle Hunter look like in.
What does that Houston defense look like?
I can't wait.
Yeah, but that could be, if it was a second in this year's class, that could have been Cooper plus Turner.
For sure, you're exactly right. It's a fair value.
Yeah, I think it's a good cash out, especially if you're rebuilding. So, thank you for that one. Let's move on.
Could you not get a first for Danielle?
No, hell no.
I don't think so.
Late first.
Nope.
Getting a second
TJ
plus
Watt.
Cooper.
Late first.
If you're gonna spend a first, you're going to acquire TJ Watt, not Danielle Hunter.
Couldn't get a 26 first.
Nope. I mean, maybe you can, but that's a bad trade on whoever's sending the 26.
Yeah, I wouldn't be sending the
almost
first.
30.
Yeah,
that's dumb.
Yep, I don't think that's.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
I might. Call me.
We'll go
talk.
to.
No, he won't. He certainly will not. I guarantee you, he will not do that.
2 friends of the show in this next trade that Adam routinely wants to strangle. Eric Harms said, Andrew Preston wanted me to share this one from a startup best ball dynasty.
Okay.
So
I can already tell you, they both lost.
They both lost.
Both
They're
of them
both
lost.
losers.
Sure.
This was a funny trade because Eric's like, as you'll see, he's like, I can't wait for you guys to make fun of me. I think this was a humble brag because I think Eric won this trade. But I decided to go the productive struggle route, and Andrew is in win now mode. So he sent Aaron Jones. Eric did. He sent Aaron Jones and Zadarius Smith for Jalen Wright and Will McDonald. I know he is excited to hear you crap on me. I mean, I like the Eric Harms side of this trade with Jalen Wright and Will McDonald for Dynasty and possibly for 2024. Because I think Aaron Jones could be washed. Different. I'm not a huge Zadarius Smith believer. I think he's fine, but, I mean, Will McDonald could eat if Hassan Reddick holds out. Yeah. So, and I like Jalen Wright in Miami, man. I think that could be a fun piece there.
Yeah, they could also both do nothing. He was a 4th-round pick. Miami could bring in a 3rd-round pick next season.
But Aaron Jones, I mean,
I think Aaron Jones is going to be pretty good this year.
I think it might be Jover for Aaron Jones.
I don't know. I think he's not going to have a lot more years left as far as value.
This is a dynasty startup that's best ball. I think that's important as well. So you don't have to worry about Jalen Wright. Do I plug him into the lineup? Yeah. You just get those booms.
Yeah, I probably would rather have it, I guess, for just the dynasty aspect. But I think Aaron Jones is going to do well. And Zadarius Smith, a guy that I was high on last year. He didn't really come through with the sacks, but the pressure rate, PFF stuff, all was very good. So I'm definitely in on Zadarius Smith in 2024. Not going to be surprised if he gets over 10 sacks. So I like it. I like it for a contender. And again, you're not having to give up. Like, those guys didn't cost much, right? Like, maybe Jalen Wright cost him a third.
Yeah.
But he was around in the fourth in some leagues that I was in. Same with Will McDonald. You could have gotten that dude like fourth or fifth. And so,
we'll see. Could look, very interesting.
If Andrew wins, it ain't gonna matter.
Yeah, if Achane goes down,
sweat.
That's the thing. I think is like Achane. That's Jalen Wright. I think is like the Achane replacement if he were to miss any time, and we'll see what happens with Reddick. I do think Reddick comes back. Does he come back for the Jets? We'll see. I think the next big domino to fall might be a Hassan Reddick trade. Just a spidey sense. I think the Jets want to just get out of this mess and recoup whatever they can for this guy.
Yeah.
At this point, I mean, I think the relationship is over. I just don't see a way back from this. My man has racked up $5 million in lost salary and fines. That's nuts.
We haven't seen that from a defender.
He needs to fire his agent immediately because he's getting some very bad advice. So there you go. Let's do a quick comment here from Papa Pineapple. Thanks for telling me to pull the trigger on my Will Anderson trade from the last trade show, boys. Looks even better now. Will Anderson for Kayvon Thibodeau, Kenneth Murray, and Ivan Pace.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Yes, there you go. Especially now with Ernest Jones and Blake Cashman potentially as the green dot and Brian Burns in town. So love that very much. Nice job, Papa Pineapple.
I might have thrown shade at Will Anderson earlier, but like he is like I think I have him 3 or 4 overall. So I mean, I love the dude. I think he's gonna be awesome for the next decade.
All right, another one from Brandon here. Should I feel okay with an LB room of Kendricks, Cashman, Speed, Long, Murray, Bentley, and Britt?
Sure.
Yes. My offense is loaded, and I'm just trying to get by bargain shopping at LB.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
That's a great room.
That's how you do it.
Redraft Dynasty.
I think it's just for 2024. It sounds
2024 is fine.
Yeah. Kendricks, Cashman, Speed, Long, Murray, Bentley, Britt. I mean,
people should have more of a redraft mindset
100%.
For Dynasty anyway.
Yeah. Absolutely.
As far as linebackers
you need to be thinking like 2 years really at most.
Yep.
Okay, so next comment here from Brandon. He said, I also have 4 claims in for all of the Rams LBs until that mess gets sorted out. I mean, that's one way to do it. Just throw them all in there.
You got the room to do it. I mean, do
it. Yeah, he said.
Someone will ball.
Oh, so that linebacker room, it's Dynasty. I stream LBs year to year. So, yeah, if you're streaming LB, brother, that's a beautiful room you've put together.
Dry place, brother.
Nicely done, Brandon. Next one here that's in the this is from the IDP show Slack. Jax said he had an offer on the table, so let's talk about it.
This is fun.
This is a fun offer. Tying into the news today, this is why it got brought up. Jax was, I believe, offered Kenneth Murray and a 2025 third-round pick for Ernest Jones, which is really fun considering that Kenneth Murray and Ernest Jones are now teammates. So do you pick up a third-round pick?
Yeah.
Just to basically swap 2 guys that have similar outlooks now, I think, for 2024?
Yeah, because I think Kenneth Murray will get other chances after Tennessee, and could even get better,
I still haven't sorted out my feelings on Ernest Jones versus Kenneth Murray. Better outlook for 2024.
I'll still say Ernest. I think Ernest will eventually take over that 100% snap role.
But it's ambiguous enough. Yeah, I'll pick up a third-round pick next year and go draft, next year's.
And it's a good point. What does Ernest cost now in redraft, right? Are you comfortable taking Ernest's inside the top 15 linebackers?
Until we see this situation sorted out? No, man.
You're not going to draft is tomorrow.
Draft is tomorrow. No. I'm going to go elsewhere.
7:30 a.m.
7:30 a.m. I'm missing the whole draft. Daddy is not getting up that early for a damn fantasy draft. Sorry, everyone. No, I'm not doing it. Why? When we have look how many better options are out there. Bobo's absolutely going to pull the trigger, but the top 15, man, for 2024 is really nice. Look at your best ball ranks. It's juicy.
What could you? All right, so let's just say you make that deal. What could you sell Kenneth Murray for? If Kenneth Murray kind of hits
third mid-season, right?
So you could
contender potentially.
So you're maybe selling Ernest Jones for 2/3.
Yeah,
that's probably okay.
Yeah,
feels good.
Absolutely,
probably okay.
I mean, maybe you wish you would have sold Ernest Jones a month ago. but
yeah,
that feels fair.
I will pick up a third to take, if this situation is so ambiguous, I'll just take a third to take the guy who I think has a 50-50 coin flip of finishing better than than Ernest Jones.
But there's going to be a contingent out there that thinks Ernest Jones could get better. We could see a better Ernest in Tennessee. And I'm with you, Josh.
Dynasty-wise, I think Ernest will be fine. But for 2024, I think the outlook is very muddled, and I think it's a coin flip between him and Kenneth Murray who finishes better this year. So give me a third-round pick.
I think it's Ernest Jones.
You'd rather have Ernest?
So you're taking the Ernest side.
I don't like this for Ernest's value. Getting traded for peanuts.
It is weird, especially the timing. We just talked about it with Mike. 12 days out from NFL football. Now Ernest Jones is on a new team, having to learn a new defense.
Because the NFL is telling us what they think of Ernest Jones. And also, that is what scares me.
And what scares me is that there weren't enough people giving offers.
Yeah.
A late-round pick swap 2 years from now. That's basically nothing.
And there's a lot of teams with, needs at linebacker.
Yes.
Tennessee wasn't really that
Why
high on
wasn't
the list.
Atlanta picking up the phone with the old defensive coordinator there? Yeah, Seattle now.
But you're not cutting Ernest Jones over Roseboom, Jake Hummel.
This, to me, is we were going to cut you compensation.
Troy Reeder.
That's the way I read this.
Rams cut Reeder once or twice maybe in the last couple of years.
I feel like they knew they could get something, but
yeah,
boy, I thought they would have gotten a little more.
I thought they would have got like a 2025 fourth-round pick. Something just reasonable.
I'm going to bank on Ernest Jones he's shown us, he's a Super Bowl winning linebacker. I'm going to bank on that at some point during the 2024 season, he's going to play better than Kenneth Murray. I want to revert back to what if Kenneth Murray doesn't get better? What if Kenneth Murray just stays the same old Charger linebacker? And this could be the beginning of the end for Kenneth Murray. I'm a little bit more pessimistic when it comes to Kenneth. I'm a little bit more optimistic
when it
refers to Ernest.
Yeah, we just don't know.
Yeah, we don't.
I think the early season outlook is better for Kenneth. Season long, I think it's better for Ernest. But who the hell knows,
but
man?
If you want to play it safe, then take the deal and flip Kenneth for a third, and then you've got 2/3 for Ernest.
Yeah, exactly.
That's tough, though. I mean, honestly, Ernest, his head's got to be spinning a little bit. You get traded, but it's also for not much. That's got to be a little embarrassing.
Also, you have to refute the story that you have been granted permission to seek a trade. It sounds like we talked about this with Mike.
Yeah.
The Rams were doing damage control. They got caught with their hand in the cookie jar and had to spin this of, we gave his agent permission. And they're like, nah, we don't want to be traded. We just want to get paid.
Could there be any weird Hassan Reddick stuff of Ernest is like, y'all traded for me, so you're going to give me an extension, right? I know he has a year left on his deal.
He has leverage now.
No, he has.
I think now he's got to be like,
they did not trade anything for me.
Because
I got to prove myself.
I got to go earn
it.
it.
And also, it's like, it's just a tough spot for him to be in. This late in the game, having to come in and compete with two linebackers that have been getting nice buzz all offseason, Gibbons and Kenneth Murray both.
Yeah.
I do think Ernest is obviously going to be a top 2 linebacker there.
Yeah.
But it's just like, there's a lot of stuff that could go wrong for him.
Okay, how long does it take to get up to speed and learn the playbook, man?
He could just be lost just because he doesn't know the playbook and stuff.
Who produces more in 24, Ernest Jones or Omar Speights?
Boy, I mean, probably Ernest Jones.
I mean, I'm willing to find out on Speights. I'm not willing to pay the what it costs to find out for Ernest.
Yeah, that's why I'm willing to take the third. It's just an ambiguous situation. I think it's a coin flip that Kenneth Murray could finish just as well as Ernest Jones. So give me a third.
I hate this day.
It's a sad day. It's a sad day.
Hey, you got rid of him though. You got it a second.
I did.
Let's talk about that trade actually, Bob.
I don't want to.
So you flipped Ernest Jones for a 2026 second-round pick to Ben Ratty, who was in the chat earlier.
Yeah.
Speak on it. Were you just done?
Well, I'm just kind of, honestly, you know what made me think about it? Nick Bolton's in a very similar situation. He is on his last year of his rookie deal. They've got Tranquil. They've got Leo Chenal.
Why was Nick Bolton not the one traded instead of Ernest Jones with this just poo-poo platter behind him?
I don't know, dude. It's just with linebacker and IDP, don't fall in love with them. Do not do it because you're going to get your heart broken.
Roquan, Foye.
Not for long, baby.
But even still, I mean, there was a time in Roquan's career where you got kind of bummed that he was getting moved. There was a time in Foye's career where he looked terrible. Going to Jacksonville, got paid a bunch of money. I mean, I'm not saying they're not great now. They definitely are. But, I mean, with all of these linebackers, it's just such a roller coaster of emotions as far as rostering these guys and trusting them in Dynasty. And I agree with what you're saying, Adam, from the perspective of you've got a 2-year window to really view these guys. All right, Zaire Franklin, I really like this guy. How do you like him for 24 and 25? Because you don't need to even be thinking about what does he look like in 26? What does he look like, what kind of deal would he get afterwards? No, you're thinking right now. And if somebody comes and gives you any type of profit as far as linebackers are concerned in IDP, you take it. You take it. It doesn't matter what it is. I don't care if it's Roquan. Honestly, if somebody comes to you today and gives you profit for Roquan Smith in IDP and Dynasty, that sucker's gone.
Bye. So I think the question here is, do we think a 2026 second is profit for Ernest Jones?
Yes.
I think so. I think it's a good cash out.
I'm sad. I'm sad, though. I'm sad.
This next one,
it's fair because it could easily go down in value. So I think it's just like
second round pick is going to keep its value. It's going to gain value.
You spent what, a fourth or a fifth for him, if that. That's what he probably won in the draft. The dude was like late.
Maybe a waiver. I don't know.
So your next trade was also interesting, Bobo. You were just shipping linebackers. You picked up Omar Spades.
Woke up in a mood.
Yeah.
Woke up on the mower, just ready to wheel and deal.
Yeah.
I bet you
to sleep on the mower.
Went to sleep on the mower, woke up on the mower.
Sure.
You beat me on the waiver pickup for Omar Spades.
Yeah.
Flipped him. And then also flipped Ernest Jones. So you're just sending linebackers out the door as soon as they walk in.
Yeah.
You also traded Nick Bolton for Jamison Williams and 2 2025 fourth-round picks. This was with John Macri.
Yeah.
Wow.
Been after Nick Bolton for a while.
Yeah.
What made you finally cave? Because I know you originally were like, Jamison Williams, I don't know. So what made you finally pull the trigger?
Timing wise, this happened about 15 minutes prior to the Ernest Jones news breaking. So in hindsight, I don't know that I would have done this because now it leaves me a little linebacker short. But honestly, I'm okay with it. I think Jamison Williams is going to carry a little bit of value this year. You've got Josh Reynolds gone. I think that team is going to pass a little bit more now this year. Jahmyr Gibbs has got some type of hamstring thing. So I know Macri's talked about them being a run-first offense, and I think they are. But I think Goff is still a great quarterback. I mean, there's risk on both sides. I'm okay to shoot my shot with J-Mo and with 2-4. So I'll consider this a cash out for Nick Bolton, even at age 24, as gross as that sounds.
So Bobby has gone from Bobby Okereke, Nick Bolton, Ernest Jones, and Omar Spades to Frankie Louvu, Esquire. That law firm has cleared out.
Yeah.
There's nobody left but Louvu.
I love it. Now I can really talk that shit about Nick Bolton.
Bring it on.
There you go. No more endowment bias with Bobo.
I mean, I've been doing it anyway.
Yeah.
But I'm not a Nick Bolton
You have to
guy.
throttle it.
Yeah. I love this. I think Jamison Williams, he's been looking good too.
Yeah, he has.
So, and then those 2 fourths, that ain't nothing.
No.
You could use that, flip that for a third if you want.
We talked about Will McDonald. That was a Will McDonald.
Yep.
Yeah.
Deion Henley.
That's
Chop Robinson.
Sure.
Yep.
There's some talent there. Cole Bishop. So, yeah, I like those fourths in IDP. So, that's a great cash out.
Did y'all see Darius Robinson starting the season on IR? Aaron just dropped that in the Slack. Speaking of Robinson, yeah. Darius Robinson off to IR.
So, once again, Dennis Gardeck.
Yeah.
Yes, the flow. Beautiful flow.
And
the
Zaven.
Juice
And
King.
Zaven season.
I like Zaven.
Yeah.
God,
Hey,
that team sucks.
speaking
That
of-
defense sucks.
Did you see Chris Barnes was cut today?
That's. I mean, Mac Wilson. I think he's going to be really, really solid there.
Mac Wilson and Kazir.
Yeah.
Talk about a guy that is probably available on every waiver wire.
Owen Papo at all?
Nah.
Nah, don't care.
No.
Give me Mac.
Yeah, and your boy put out a tweet back like 2-3 months ago. Mac Wilson. You should be adding him in all your dynasty leagues.
Did you put it out on X?
I did. I did.
You. Can't spell sex without X. That's for
That's
sure.
true. That's what they are saying.
That's what they are saying. Angry Native, is Troy Reader the obvious zombie coming for the linebacker tackles with
I
the
love
Rams?
it.
No.
Get you.
No.
Get you. Can you imagine?
It's Gitch's back.
Can you imagine?
For that, what was
Hey,
that,
team of the year,
2021?
Gitcha.
Like our second season doing this show? Get your
Yeah.
Reader was the rage. We gotta make if Reader is the LB with the Rams, we will make a Get Your Reader shirt. And we will just give it
Wow.
away to our paid subscribers. How about that?
Let's go.
We will go bankrupt.
Yeah, I think we got to do it.
We got to do it. We've committed
we need
to it
just
now.
all merch needs to be reader related.
Reader related merch.
Sure.
Great suggestion. Buffalo for Ernest Jones. Like, yeah, Boo Bam said, why not Buffalo? Throw out a 4th round pick.
So many
So
spots.
many good
Seattle.
spots.
So many spots.
Doesn't make sense.
I just feel like there's something. There's going to be some news.
Yeah, there's some
He
stink
wrapped
there.
his Lamborghini around a pole.
Yeah, Roquan style with cocaine and hookers in the car. Brandon said, I refuse to commit long-term to any LB. I got burned bad with Blake Martinez. Never again. It's a good lesson to learn, but you hate to learn it the hard way with someone like the Pokemaster.
That's right.
Blake Martinez.
Doing a bunch of fraud.
Yeah, exactly. We were all excited about Blake Martinez as the Pokemon kind of card collector and dealer, but yeah, it turns out he was scamming people.
Bunch of fake Charizards.
Yeah, a bunch of fake Pikachus. Hate to see it. Angry Native says Austin Booker in a 2025 third-round pick for Khalil Mack in Dynasty, 16-team league, 1 DT, 2 DN, 3 LB, 2 CB, 2 safety, 1 flex. So a very similar, the exact same setup as RSO, our RSO league. Austin Booker, 2025 third-round pick for Khalil Mack in Dynasty, 16-team league.
It's fair.
I think it's a fair trade.
It's fair.
It's not going to be as fun.
Yeah, it's fair. I mean, I want Khalil Mack if I'm a contender for the next 2 years, but
Austin Booker in a third's a nice side as well.
For sure.
yeah,
That's a lot for Khalil Mack.
yeah,
30, how old?
32.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's got another 2-3 years, I think.
And it's like with Austin Booker, like, what if he's just like, you know, Al-Qadim Muhammad?
I mean, they're going to bring in some people.
Yeah.
He could be something. He could also be nothing. 2025 third-round pick. Could
Probably
be
fine for Mac.
You know.
Could be nice.
Could be nice.
Jared
so
Verse.
even that, I think a 2025 third, if you look at it that way, for Khalil Mack.
Yeah, I think that's a fair cash out, right? I mean, that's really all you can expect if you're trading away Khalil Mack. Like, you can't.
This dude's old.
You can maybe get a second,
1
but
year
you're going
or
to feel a little bad because
you just busted somebody's head.
Why
Why
probably send it to the league dummy.
Yeah, so
who needed that second?
Yes, he needed it, and now you've deprived him of it, and he's dead on the sidewalk. So great job.
It's all right. Hey, it's while we play the game.
That's right, to bust them heads, murder our friends. OSU for Life 24. Do you have a favorite of Cole Bishop, Tyler Nubin, or Cooper DeJean for DB?
Oh man,
That is a nice little group right there.
Well, I mean, I think those are my top 3 DBs.
He's probably just looking right at your ranks, asking who's your favorite. Adam?
I mean, I think I have DeJean 1, Bishop 2, Nubin 3, but they're all like, you know, those are all like top 24 rookies.
The one who's probably going to start week 1 that we know for certain is probably Nubin, right? Because Cole Bishop's been banged up. Cooper DeJean, who knows?
Right. I expect Nubin to have like a solid year 1. So
upside the rest of the season, probably Cooper DeJean, especially if you're in kick and punt return leagues. But for week 1, I think Tyler Nubin.
Good talk about Jaden Hicks, too, there in Kansas City. Talk about him maybe kind of filling in, but maybe playing a little slot. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could see it.
Never know with them.
All right, boys. Well, that's it. That's all the trades. So
good time.
We'll kind of wrap up here. If you guys watching, thank you all so much for tuning in. If you have any more trades, drop them in here before we wrap up. But good episode tonight, boys. If you're listening in the audio podcast feed, we had Mike Wohlert on to talk green dot and 3-down linebackers. If you're watching the trade show right now on YouTube, there's another video with Mike Wohlert. We go over the Ernest Jones news. We look at some ambiguous 3-down and green dot linebacker situations that he wants to see resolved. We're talking about some under-the-radar guys, his flag plant. Speaking of which, boys, next week, we're doing flag plants.
Oh, boy.
Season is here.
Got to do some prep.
Got to do some prep. I think one of mine I've decided is going to be Isaiah McDuffie. I've got McDuffie everywhere.
You can't call him now.
I took him in
you
Madness.
Can't call him now.
I'm calling it right now. You guys cannot have
fair.
McDuffie.
That's fair. I think you can do it.
I'm looking at the best ball shares, and this is a guy that
Me and Adam are going to have so many mini flag plants. This is going to be a 3-hour episode.
It's going to be an hour of it's on Quentin Lake.
Quentin Lake.
Sure.
I'm going to make you all fist fight. I'm going to make you all run the 40 for Quentin Lake.
That's right. He's going to be Quentin Ocean by the time we get done with him. I'll say that. Oh, I don't know what that means, but I'll say that.
All right. Well, I think, we got one more comment here. That's one more comment for Brandon, and then we'll get out of here. I really hope DeJean takes over the kick punt return role at some point. I think we all do.
Yeah.
I think that's coming for Cooper
I think
DeJean.
I think so. I think he's that type.
I hope Peyton Wilson does. It'd be more fun.
Peyton Wilson.
More fun.
That would be. Bobo's just all over the place tonight.
You never know.
He's wheeling it, Dylan. We'll get you back to the mower, Bobo. I know it's time.
A lot of crying today.
Thanks for tuning in. We love you guys.
Thank you all for watching. We appreciate you all. Season's right around the corner. We'll see you all next week for flag plants. Until then, y'all take care.